right, welcome back to another episode of Strive 25 Podcast. And again, we're doing 100 episodes of showing stories of income, increasing income, side hustles. And I've got a friend, a guest on, Dylan Favazza, who's in San Antonio, Texas. He's actually from St. Louis, my hometown. And we're going to be talking about growing a store from the ground up on Shopify, Amazon. And what's so exciting for me to be able to dig into this is that you're literally, 2 months into this and already knocking things out of the park. So let's dig in. Dylan, thanks so much for taking time.
Yeah, good to be here, Joel. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. As you said, I'm definitely new, but it scales quick. And I mean, it's like I would say 2 months in, it's enough income for me to like live on. And I'm not pulling from it yet, but um, it can scale quick. The sky's the limit. There's people doing huge numbers, and I'm learning a lot every day. But I feel like I've come a long way, and hopefully I can add some value here.
Awesome. So just let's dig into the platform and what you're doing, and we'll kind of backpedal a little bit about the backstory. So,
Sure.
what are you selling? What are you doing on this platform?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is called Amazon Online Arbitrage. Also can be called retail arbitrage. And basically, all you're doing is you're buying discounted products, whether that's at a local store, like call it a TJ Maxx. Maybe you go into Walmart, you're buying Walmart clearance section items, or you're online, you're on Kohl's, you're on Dick's Sporting Goods, and you're buying discounted products. They're running sales all the time. One example is it was leap year this year, and there was a leap day sale. So on the 29th of February, great deals all online. And so you're buying products discounted during those sales. Maybe it's everyday pricing, but you're just finding a better deal in person or online, and you're reselling that product on Amazon. People pay for the convenience on Amazon. There's also, if you're getting it at a really good deal, like you're selling it at regular price. So maybe you're buying it 50% off and you're selling it at regular price on Amazon. But people want it next day. People love Amazon. That's what they're used to. They pay for that membership. So yeah, you're just finding a deal and flipping it on Amazon.
Well, let's take that 29th sale, the leap year sale. What would be an example of something from there?
So I have a deodorant I'm selling. It's selling really well, and it was extra discounted that day. So it already worked, but I made an extra 15% profit margin just that day. So I went heavy. I think I placed like 10 different orders on that website, just kind of sporadically throughout the day. It was literally just called a leap day sale. There was some other products. I bought some stuff
Oh,
from J.C. Penney.
hold on, hold on. Let's take that
Yeah,
one a little
sorry.
deeper. So 10 orders of deodorant. So 10 orders of a box or 10 individual. Like what's the actual schematic?
10 orders of 30 units each.
30 units. Okay. So what would be the regular price you get it at, and then you add on the extra 15% discount? How does the numbers work? Not to put you on the spot, just ballpark.
Yeah. So I was buying it for $8.90, and I think it was down to 7.25 or so, $7.25
Okay.
that day.
For one box of 30.
Per individual deodorant.
Okay. So
It's like a high end,
high end.
nice, clean, yeah.
Okay.
And so it
I'm not in that world. So what would be an example of a brand that's that expensive, or that
um
from a wholesale
I
cost?
yeah, I would know like I'm not gonna give away the specific one, but like native is kind of like a
Okay.
aluminum free,
Okay.
is a
Cool.
big thing, something like that.
Cool. Okay. So you 890. Okay. Extra 15% gets you down to 725. And then what's the back end? What are people paying for it on the back end?
I've sold them up to 30. That's not the case all the time. True story, somebody paid $30 for one deodorant and then $20 expedited shipping to get it sooner, which is absolutely insane. So you're talking like $50 for one deodorant. Um, but
Damn.
that's not the case all the time. Just know that that's kind of the platform, and that's real life stuff happening.
I mean, so they
Um,
must have had like a really important date trying to impress somebody. Is that what we're talking about?
yeah, man, we're talking maybe a really important meeting. They smell bad that day or something. uh, but all day long, I'm getting $20 to $25 for them.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, and then you mentioned J.C. Penney. What would be an example of something like that?
Yeah, again, just another like leap day sale. I think it was just leap 30 was the promo code, and you're getting 30% off that day on top of, any sales they may already have going.
Okay. So I'm sorry, doing the math on that deodorant one. So 10 orders at 30 units. So that's 300 units. And let's just say you're making on average $12 net income.
Um, there's a lot of fees, Amazon fees, shipping fees. So you're looking at maybe 8 to 10.
Okay. So let's just do $8. So that would be a net of everything, maybe of $240.
Yeah, for that day's orders.
So for that one little thing that you did, then you put it out there and people buy it. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm shipping easily 15 to 20 a day.
Okay.
And I'm selling, so a lot of this stuff we can get into it more later, but I'm sending it out to Amazon to fulfill. That specific item I'm fulfilling in my home. So every morning around 10:30, my USPS guy comes. I have all my packages prepped and ready to go, and he just takes them.
So when all is said and done, does that end up saving you more money versus Amazon fulfilling directly?
That specific item, yeah.
Okay.
It's not always the case, but that specific item, yeah.
Okay. So that's one example of a type of product, right? You mentioned the JCPenney. How many different varieties of different things that are coming through your platforms? How many different products?
Yeah, I was told early on to go wide, not deep. So buy as many different products as you can early on. So you have a variety. So maybe you have, let's call it 100 different items you're selling, but you're only selling, maybe you're buying 10 at a time versus buying 10 products, but buying 100 each or something like that. It's better to have a wide category. So mine, think I'm up to like 250 different items, and that includes different sizes. So maybe I'm selling like a pair of pants, but I'm selling extra large, large, small. There's a lot of different varieties in between. But yeah, I think I'm up to 250, which I think is pretty good for starting out. And the more you can have, the better.
Okay. So you buy the stuff from somewhere and then you put it up on Amazon. So Shopify, Amazon, what's the difference? Are they part of the same, not the same? What's the difference?
I wish I had a better answer for you. I don't know Shopify that well, but I know, yeah, just I'm exclusively Amazon, and just like an Amazon reseller.
Okay.
So I think when you get into more like you maybe are the brand owner or you're working directly with a brand, you get specifically into that Shopify space. But mine's like bare bones and entry level Amazon selling is just kind of flipping well-known products.
Okay. What's the barrier to entry to be able to do this on Amazon?
It's not huge. I would say some of the obstacles early on is you need to get a store. So you have to get verified with Amazon. That might take 2 weeks or so. They just do like, checks on you as an individual and they verify your address and stuff. So you get set up with them. You should pay for a pro account, which is like 39 bucks a month, I believe, with Amazon. And then get some other softwares that I would recommend. One being Seller Amp is definitely a great software to have. It helps you just do the analysis on the product and make sure it's going to be profitable. So it's basically a calculator. You're going to put in your buy costs, you're going to put in your shipping fees, maybe your tax rate, and it calculates in the Amazon fees on the back end and tells you, okay, this is the ROI you're going to get on that product. This is how much profit you're going to make. So definitely a software I recommend. I believe that one's like 22 bucks a month. And then there's one more that is a more in-depth analysis software called 𝐂𝐓. I think if you have those three, you can get started. You can feel confident you're buying good, profitable products. So that's kind of the bare minimum is get set up with an account, buy those two softwares I mentioned, and you don't need that much money. Like you need to buy inventory up front. So you should have, I would say, $500 to $1,000 to pay for the software, and buy, a reasonable amount of inventory to get started.
What was the first piece of inventory that you purchased? What type of product?
So a lot of people getting started, they do the retail arbitrage. So instead of online buying those sales, you're going in store. So I was going to TJ Maxx just because I have one nearby, and I bought a lotion for $5 and I flipped it for like 25. And I think even to this day, one of those first sales is still my best ROI profit. Um, I just found into like a little tiny corner clearance section of TJ Maxx. I only bought like one or two I think they had available, but yeah, it was a good one. And there's tons of products like that at TJ Maxx.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a couple pieces of software, get some inventory, then what happens?
And then you list it. Yeah, you can either, I would say the best way to start is sell it from home. So it's called merchant fulfilled. Is where you the seller are putting labels on the products and selling them from your home. So you might need to get some like bubble wrap poly bags and stuff to send out your inventory. But that's probably the easiest way to do it. It's the quickest way to get your money back too, to be able to buy more. But if you're not set up for that, I actually do mostly into selling into Amazon, send it into Amazon. And that's just like you're going to box it all up. You're going to kind of prep it to what Amazon's specs are. So you need to put a specific barcode on that Amazon's going to scan when they get it into their factory. And then they ship it and fulfill it, do all the customer service from there. So that's a much easier way to go. There is fees associated with that, but the shipping cost into Amazon's pretty affordable. So it's not that much different as far as the profit you're going to make. It does take quite a bit longer for it to get checked into Amazon and for them to start fulfilling it, so that your turn on the money you're investing may be a little bit slower. But yeah.
But then the whole point of that is that it just saves you time and BS.
Yeah, you don't have to, pack packages every day. And oftentimes you can get more you can sell it for higher, because you're going to have next day prime delivery on there. Versus if I'm selling it from my apartment, I don't have that.
Okay, cool. So the very first sale you said was this lotion, right? On Amazon. Like, walk me through kind of the evolution of the first month, the wins, the doubts, uncertainties, or was it just all just wins? Like, what was going on that first month?
Definitely not. There's a lot of great wins and it's crazy to look at. And it's like every day it's a roller coaster, like anything in entrepreneurship. There's ups and downs. There's days where I'm like, holy shit, my sales are crazy today. And then there's other days where it's like, okay, I have a lot of this item, but it's just not moving. What's going on here? So early struggles, I like see all these people on YouTube and stuff going to these stores and buying thousands of dollars worth of inventory at Nike outlets or TJ Maxx. And that was not the case for me. I mean, I'd walk out with $50 worth of inventory and I was like, okay, I spent 3 hours here. That was crazy. I scanned half the store and um, not much was working. So there's struggles there. But I've had days since then, as you start to know that store better. Um, I can walk in and out of a TJ Maxx in 20, 30 minutes, easily make $200 profit, buying maybe $500 worth of inventory. And I'm really just buying stuff I've already sold and I know sells well. So it's time doing it. It's reps. You start to know the product. You start to know like certain brands too is really important. Once you know like brands that are reseller friendly, it's easier to quickly find stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of wins. I've scaled pretty quickly so far. Hoping to do a lot more, but there's days where I, I bought 100 of this one item, which is the most I've ever bought of anything so far, and I've sold it very successfully so far. But I just got it listed onto my store, and there's another really big seller. He's probably a distributor, that's undercutting the price quite a bit. So I'm hoping I can still make a little bit of a profit, but it's not going to be anywhere near what I thought it was going to be. So that was scary to go out on a limb, buy 100 of something that I had sold. So I had proof of concept. Like I've sold it, I bought 20, then I bought 50, and then I tried 100. So I kind of stepped up. I felt like I was playing it safe by testing it a few different times, but this guy came out of nowhere and he's undercutting me. So a little worried
By
about that one,
what
but like,
percentage? How much lower is that offer?
so my sale price I've sold at was 21 $21.77, and he's at $17.49, which I think is basically my break even. So I
Shit.
can sell it and probably not lose any money, but I had to go through the time. I had to label it all myself, send it to Amazon, and maybe I'll break even. So
Okay.
yeah.
So the first month, how much in sales did you get to?
Yes, I'll show you my charts here. So I technically started January 1st, but that was like the first 2 weeks of just watching YouTube videos and gaining knowledge, like zero information on January 1st. I didn't know anything about it.
Mhm.
So I didn't get anything sent into Amazon really till halfway through the month. and I'm looking, I had $600 in sales. And then February, here, I'll try to show it up here on the screen.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that 29,000 in February. No, no, no. So that's total. So
So
18,
that's so far.
12,000, 15. I can't see that number. The top number is what, 15 or 12? 18,
So I
18,000.
hit 18, yeah,
Holy cow. Okay.
18. And then so far this month, I'm already at 10,000 this month.
Okay.
I think just this last 7 days, I'm at 9,000. So my goal is I should be able to hit 35, 40,000 this month.
Okay. So
So
in terms of just net profit margins, 10%, 20%, 30%, what's kind of the range people can expect?
yeah, I'd say like when people starting out, you should probably shoot for a 20% profit margin, maybe even 25%. And that's profit margin on revenue. You can also look at the metric of ROI. If you're scanning an item and you're like, okay, I'm going to invest $10 in this, I want to get 35% ROI back on that spend. But if you're looking at just revenue, I'd say 20% is good. As you get bigger, typically people are running at 15%. So if you're
Okay.
doing more than 10,000 in sales and you want to just crank volume and faster moving products, you're looking at about 15%. So I'm at 17 right now, but I'm expecting that probably to go down, especially on that one item I bought 100 of. That's going to hurt, yeah, the overall margin. But
Okay. You mentioned YouTube. Like where did you get the best bang for buck in terms of time and information and guidance?
YouTube University, I'm a huge proponent of it. Alumni of many colleges on YouTube, and I like Flips for Miles was a guy I learned a lot from. So it's just Flips, the number 4 miles,
Oh, I think I
and
follow him on Twitter.
yeah, he's all over Twitter. That's really where I learned a lot, and kind of got exposed to it first.
Yeah, yeah. He's got 66,000 followers there. Yeah.
He's a cool dude. So I joined his coaching program, um, which was a great investment. I'm really happy I did that. I do not think I'd be where I am so far without that. Mostly the network of people that are in it. I've met a lot of cool sellers. One guy actually locally here in San Antonio, I've gotten pretty close with, that I met through that program. But yeah, a lot of good information. He does like calls throughout the week, and so you're just constantly like surrounded by sellers who are doing some really good numbers, and so that helped a lot. He's got a buddy named Warner, um, and they have a program together called the Roadmap, and so it's like the Amazon Roadmap. If you look that up on YouTube, there's a lot of good content. There's another guy called All Out Amazon. He's on Twitter and also all over YouTube. Really good content there. And I'd say that that content's great for like beginner stuff. You can get into more like wholesale and more advanced level stuff, but just starting with those guys, you'll learn a ton on how to read those Keepa charts, how to like go into stores and scan stuff and make sure you're buying the right products, and a lot of that beginner level like information you need to get. So yeah, my first week of January was just consuming as much as I could from those guys.
So we talked a little bit about kind of the type of products that you're doing. You mentioned TJ Maxx, um, Kohl's, the deodorant, the beginning sales, $600 in the first month, the second month, 18,000, so far 10K in March. So things are growing. Profit margin, maybe around 20%. When you look at this entire thing that you're doing, right? How much time are you spending each week or each month on this stuff?
Yeah, good question. I just my personality type. If I get excited about something, I see it work, and I'm going all in. So the last 2 months, I mean, I've been putting a ton of time into it. Um, like waking up as soon as I get up, I'm doing it, and I'm usually doing it till I go to bed with maybe some dinner and girlfriend time in between. But yeah, I'm in Saturday, Sunday for the last 2 months, like just full on. So I wouldn't say that's a typical ramp up for most people, but I think if you're willing to put in that time, it just gets easier. So at the beginning, your first couple of weeks, all you're doing is looking for new products to buy. Like you just need to get inventory in your store. As it goes on, that the time you put into that sourcing compounds on itself. And I'm spending way less time. Like I would say the last 2 weeks, physically me sourcing and looking at products has maybe been like 5 hours total. Because it's mostly just me going back and buying stuff I already have sold profitably. and I know works. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going back, I'm picking stuff I'm already getting sales on and just rebuying. So that time I invested 2 months ago is now paying dividends on it.
That's
Um,
awesome. Okay.
but yeah, I'm doing it full time, so I am putting a lot of time into it. I don't think you have to. I mean, like I said, I can go into a TJ Maxx in 30 minutes and make $200 if I'm near one, and I think a lot of people can do that. But yeah, I'm putting a lot of time to get to that stage. There's a ton of people I know though that are in college right now doing this out of their dorm rooms, part time. Like there's kids 18 years old that are absolutely killing it. Just doing it, in between classes or on the weekends. So yeah, I think the more time you put in, the more you're going to get out of it, but it doesn't have to require that much time.
From a standpoint of rolling the clock forward, say 6 months, you know, what are you seeing people get to? What gets unlocked, as you get further along in the journey, the compounding, the experience? What are you seeing people do or get to versus, and also kind of what are you thinking is possible for you?
Yeah, good question. So, the guy I mentioned who's here in San Antonio, I met him in person one of the first weeks, and it was sitting down with him where I was like, okay, this is a real thing. Like when you see people doing it online, you see it on YouTube, it's one thing, but when you talk to somebody in person and he shows you his charts and what he's been doing, like, okay, this is a real thing. There's a lot possible here. So he started um, midway through last year, and just in November alone, he did 100,000 in sales. So that's like 5, 6 months after he started. And obviously, Christmas season is like crazy on Amazon, and that's when people make a ton of money on there. But he was doing really well, and he's consistently hitting 60,000 in sales a month currently. So like, and we're talking, 7, 8 months after he started. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, he's making probably at least 7,000, 8,000 profit a month by doing that. So for me, like that's where I want to get as soon as I can is just consistent income coming from this. And so I plan on doing 50,000 by May, which I think should be pretty doable. And by the end of the summer, like I hope I'm hopefully hitting 100,000 in sales. And there's anybody who's doing this more than a couple of years, like if you're able to stay around and you're able to learn and continue to grow on it, like yeah, the sky's the limit. There's a lot of people that their first year they hit 1 million in sales, for the year. And I think it just gets easier. Like I said, that time compounds on itself. And so if you see a sale on Kohl's, from the last sale on Kohl's what you should buy. Like you're gonna look at the same products and you're like, okay, I know this did well last time. I'm just gonna go in and buy that right away. Where me right now, I'm gonna have to source the whole website and pull open each item and kind of look into Amazon and see what it's at. But my friend who's gone through multiple sales cycles, he's in there, he's cherry picking the items he's already bought before. So I think it just gets easier as you spend more time with it. And um, yeah, it's easy to make a lot of money. Amazon's the biggest online platform there is. So if you get good at it, like you can make big money.
The word saturated, if somebody out there hears this and I think, yeah, maybe I'm going to dabble in this and start doing it on the side in terms of the types of products and the people that are doing it. I mean, is there space for somebody to come in and do this on the side?
I think so. I mean, I'm just getting started, and it's real money I'm making. So I really think there is. I I could see how that would be a thing, and I was also nervous about that. But Amazon's growing every day, so there's always new sales, new people coming to Amazon. Um, Funny enough, my mom like just started buying on Amazon. Like once she heard me doing this, she's like, "Oh, I should probably check that out. That sounds like really easy to order from." She'd never ordered from Amazon before. She got a gift card for Christmas, and she's like, "I don't know what to do with it." Um, but yeah, I think there's always new people coming to the platform, so that helps. I also think there's a lot of people that are interested in it and learning about it. And it, like the more I'm around, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of, so to speak, competition. But I think staying power and people who stay more than 6 months um, is is a lot lower. So the barrier to entry is low, but the barrier of staying is kind of high. Like you really have to put time and energy and to get good and stay around for a while where you can make money with it. There's probably a lot of people that are doing, a little bit here and there. Maybe they're doing retail arbitrage going at the stores, but to really scale up, I don't think it's nearly as many people. So, yeah, that's always kind of like a limiting belief too, right? You always want to have that abundance mindset too. There's always opportunity out there.
Totally. So we're gonna have a guide from Dylan when this comes out later in the year. We're in March, so let's look him out with a guide later. And we're gonna stop here. And I'm gonna ask Dylan this. Maybe this is recorded, maybe it's not and gets out. But we didn't really dig into how you're able to do this full time, because there's a whole different part of your journey that I think is pretty cool with the real estate side of things that I'd like to be able to dig into at a different time. But any last pieces of advice or guide for someone listening to this?
No, I think it's always just get started. I think it's really cool you're doing this, and to have 100 different side hustles that people can choose from and learn from is like such a cool opportunity. Because I love that stuff too. If I see people doing something that works, I'm like, I can do that. Like, how do I get started? Um, so I think this is a really cool piece, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You can find Dylan on Twitter at @RE_FBA. So
Yep,
definitely give him a follow over there. And Dylan, man, thanks again for making time. And we'll talk soon.
sounds good, Joel. Take care.
See ya.